The bench press is a compound lift that is used to develop size, strength, and power, primarily of the pecs and tricep muscles. The exercise begins when the lifter lays down on the bench, ensuring that the head, upper back, and butt are in contact with the pad before commencing the lift. After setting up, the lifter grabs the bar with a grip that is approximately shoulder width apart. The scapulas are then retracted and depressed to provide extra stability at the shoulder joint. Once the bar is gripped firmly, the lift is initiated with a push to unrack the bar before it is moved directly over the chest. The lifter begins to slowly control the bar down to his chest, making sure to touch. Once the bar comes in contact with the chest, the direction changes as the lifter begins to push the bar away from his body until the elbows are fully locked out. This movement is repeated over and over until all prescribed repetitions have been completed.
For one of our exercises for the sport-specific program, we decided to do a tricep extension exercise. Now when you think about the traditional shot put toss, a lot of the power that those athletes generate, it comes from the legs. But when we looked into the research a little further, there did seem to be a relationship between the overall tricep muscle activation and power with overall performance of a toss. So it does seem to play a key component in the toss. That's a very important concept to understand for our athletes specifically, because they are going to be in that seated position and they're going to be isolated to movements of just the upper half. So we decided to do a resisted band or a cable overhead extension because it's going to most closely mimic that of the actual shot put toss. So for the exercise, you're just going to have a chair with the back facing the cables or the band. The athlete may or may not need some help getting to those bands. And then basically you're just going to take those bands, bring them up overhead, and press straight out forward. And we'll give you a little demonstration right here. So you're going to take the bands. Again, let's go ahead and just sit nice and forward. Keep those arms tucked right up against your head. And you're just going to press straight out. Come back nice and slowly, controlling that eccentric phase. And that'll be it. Now, depending on where you are in your phase of training, the sets and reps might change, or the speed of the movement itself might change if you're looking for something a little more explosive. But that's it, and we'll go to the next one.
All right, so now that we're back from the strength training portion and the flexibility, we're going to start implementing the coordination. So this is important for our athletes, especially returning from rehab. We want to make sure they can come and return back to sport in a safe manner. So typically what I would do is we're going to set them up through the basic motions. So whether that's going to be through the cock back to the follow through, we want to make sure they're able to do that without the weight of the ball, depending on that. So go ahead and set your athlete up in a normal position here. Usually the pair athlete's going to have the bar to hold on to, and then we're going to have them practice going through the ranges of motion. So you first do the cock back phase to the push through, just work on that power to make sure they got that twist and follow through. Do 3 sets of 10 like that. If that seems good and safe, we can start adding more components like the throw, the wrist flip, and the follow through. So set them back up in that position, hold that cock back phase, and power through, just like that. We do 3 sets of 10 for that as well. And once we get comfortable and gain that motion in a safe spot, we can start adding the weight of the ball. Now, to make sure they're getting the right angle before you add the weight of the ball, we can practice with a target where they're either hitting your hand to make sure they're getting that height up there and getting that full range, or even just touching like a piece of paper on the wall or tape or something like that. So now we'll start adding the ball. You can add to their normal liking, or we can even start lighter, where it's like 1 pound to 2 pounds. So we get them up in that same spot, hold the pull back, and follow through. We can do 3 sets of 10 for there as well, and then start working on gaining more power and more distance for your athlete.